kitchen. It's me, Catherine, and you'll have to apologise any slowness with the technology today because Ola's gone on annual leave and left me alone with all the technology, so I have to remember how to do all of this. I hope you're enjoying joining us this week. It's a really good week. It's a little bit sad though. So this is the last of our weekly Facebook Live events. From next month, we're going to a monthly event. It's going to be on the first Thursday of each month. So it's next week. And next week's event is also going to be at 1 o'clock rather than at our 4 o'clock time slot. So if you're in Bedford Hall and you want to watch it, we will be streaming it on the screen in the hall so that you can watch. And there'll be someone down there to type in comments, so if you have any questions, just flag us down and we'll type them in for you. Last week, we were doing exercises in the hall, and Odette's quietly sitting behind the camera at the moment.
Hello.
And Odette taught us all how we could use our house as a gym. How we could use the stairs, how we could use chairs and cushions. I think there was a tea towel involved somewhere.
Yes.
And walls. So I'm excited to know how many of you have been trying out those exercises. And next week, as I said, at 1 o'clock, not 4 o'clock, it's going to be all about finances and becoming a financial guru so that you can manage everything really well. So I'm going to hand over to Aisha, who's going to tell us what we're doing this week, and then we're going to change camera view so she can show us what we're going to be cooking. Over to you, Aisha. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live. Today we're going to be cooking fish pie. I've already prepared some of the ingredients. I've boiled the potatoes and put the butter in there. I've steamed the fish with milk. I use milk, bay leaf, black pepper, onions. I use red onion, but you can use white if you don't have red onions. Onions and salt.
You've just answered our first question, Aisha.
What's that?
So Mary said she loves fish pie. It has to have flaky fish with mashed potato on top, but she doesn't know what the sauce is all about.
All right, well, you're gonna watch how I'm going to do my sauce. I have a different way of doing it, so hopefully that will be easier for you guys as well. Because for me, I find it easier to do it like that, the white sauce. So,
Do we want to move over to the...
Yes, Catherine, if you could join me in the kitchen.
Okay, I'm just going to change the camera view and then I will join you in the kitchen.
Okay.
Aisha, it might be interesting to tell people just how to cook the potatoes and how do you know when they're cooked. Just if you describe that, if people are not used to making their own mashed potato.
Well, for you to know when the potato is cooked, you need to use a fork or a sharp knife. Just prick it and it will, like, the fork will just go straight in.
And then it won't be on the fork when you lift it up.
So
do you have to peel the potatoes?
Peel the potatoes, but some people boil it and then take the skin off later. Whichever one is easier for you. For some people, they find it that boiling it and taking the skin off is much easier, but I peel mine first. And then boil it. So I prick it once the fork goes right in, or knife, whatever you have that is sharp, it goes through, then you know that it's cooked.
Thank you.
And I put a little bit of salt as well when I'm boiling it, but you can add the salt later. It's up to you how you want to do it.
That sounds really interesting. Thank you, Aisha. I'm just going to move over to Hobcam.
Okay.
And bring the microphone with me so we can be heard. It's very exciting. I get to move today. So we're over here pointing at the hob. And what have we got in our saucepan at the moment?
Right, we've got in this pot, I melted about 300 or 400 grams of butter. It depends on the quantity that you're doing. I melted the butter and then used the milk that I used to boil the fish in. So it has all the onions and black pepper or white pepper. I use white pepper this time, but if you don't have white pepper, you can use black pepper. And what else did I put? The bay leaf. I boiled it with the onions with the fish. So I use that milk, drain everything, put the fish aside, which is on that side, and throw the rest away, the bay leaf and the onions. Throw it away, and the fish is over there. So I've got here now in this the milk and the butter.
So you melted the butter down. Did you do that over a low heat?
Low heat, yeah. Once
And did you move the butter as it was melting?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just move the pot, or you use a wooden spoon to move it around. So now this is on low heat.
And don't touch your saucepan with your
Sorry.
hands like Aisha does.
So I've got here about 7 or 8 tablespoons of plain flour. So I'm just gonna pour that in slowly. I'm using
And you use a nice big whisk.
big
Do
whisk.
you have to have a big whisk or will a small whisk do?
It's not, whatever you have, really. It doesn't really matter.
So Aisha, you just whisk it all up so that the
Yeah.
butter wasn't sitting on top of the
Yes,
milk.
that's what I've just done. So now I'm just gonna put the milk, the flour in bit by bit and mixing at the same time.
So did you sieve your flour first?
No, I didn't. Just plain flour, I just put it in the bowl.
And if you're not as good as Aisha is, look at her, pouring her flour in while she's stirring with the other hand. You can put a bit of flour in, then do a stir, then put a bit of flour in, then do a stir.
That's it. Whichever one is easier for you to do. You don't have to do it like me.
So is it feeling any different as you're adding the flour?
Yes, it's becoming thicker, so you feel it. What I'm going to do later, I'm going to be naughty and put a little bit of cream inside, double cream.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fish pie.
So what fish are we putting in our pie?
Okay, I'm using just plain fish, white fish. You obviously use any fish that you have. Some people use poached fish like
Yeah. That'll probably be
like salmon.
Yeah, and I have to have a prawn in my thinking my fish pie as well. So
any
I'm
fish.
mildly obsessed with prawns, me.
So what I'm doing now, I'm just using the wooden spoon to mix it like the edges. So like if the flour is stuck in at the edge, you just take it off.
And Mary said, is it plain flour or corn flour? I think you said it was plain flour.
Yeah, plain flour.
So am I correct if we're using cooking terminology? Would this be called a roux?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I'm always very wary of making roux. It makes it look very easy.
Yeah. So as you can see now, it's becoming thicker. Yeah.
Oh, that does look like it's thicker. Do you
Yeah.
have to keep stirring
Keep
it?
stirring, yeah. Because the flour needs to cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you feel it coming thick, because when you mix, you feel that the whisk is becoming too.
And something more to cook again.
Yeah.
Oh, it's looking well. It's smelling amazing in here. I walked in earlier and asked Aisha a question and said the word fish rather than anything else. It was very confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, is
So,
this an
yes.
easy way of doing
That's an
it?
easy way. The other way that some people do it, they melt the butter and then put the flour, mix it.
Ah.
I mean, for me, I just find this one easier. I've tried it that way, but this one is much easier. I find it an easier way to do it. That's just Aisha always looking out for the easy way out.
We all want the easy way of doing things, Aisha, don't worry.
So I'm just gonna lower the heat a bit. That's
So
it.
we were on a medium heat and we've
Yeah.
gone down to a low heat now.
Yeah.
And I presume we've also got our oven on heating up.
It's already on at 240. So that's thicker.
I can. It's starting to sort of slightly stick to the sides of the pot a bit more as you mix it. And there are little bubbles forming. I think that's from the whisking rather than anything else. It's
Yeah.
not bubbling and boiling.
So at this point, I'm just gonna put the double cream, half of the double cream, and then I'll put the half in the potatoes and I'm mashing it. So
Oh, that
if you're
sounds
watching your weight,
decadent.
you eat this one today and go to the gym tomorrow.
So I should suggest put some double cream in your sauce and some double cream in your...
Just tasting for salt. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of
double
I'm
cream.
not gonna do too much.
It will be a generous helping. Is that the
Yes.
amount?
That's the word, generous helping. And just keep mixing.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm gonna put add a bit of salt. I'll put
And this was add salt to taste, wasn't
yeah,
it?
to taste. I'll put a teaspoon and a half. And I might need to put some more later, but let me see how it goes.
That sounds really good.
So as they say, remember you can always add, but you
can't
can't
take
take
it
out. So it's looking all nice
It
and
looks
creamy.
really thick and creamy
See?
now. Slightly
Nice.
lower.
Yeah.
There we
Lower?
go.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got the camera pointing right into the saucepan today,
Yeah,
Aisha.
sure. That's good.
Ooh,
Right.
we have a question here. If we were wanting to be slightly better on our waistlines and not add cream, what would be an alternative?
You could put yogurt.
Ooh.
Yeah, the thick yogurt. Yeah, you could
Is that
do
just to make it that bit thicker and
Thick.
rich?
Yeah, that's all. Just to give it that.
And I presume you could use cream equivalent, which is meant to be better for the waistline as well.
Yeah, anything that you think will be better than cream. Okay, at this point now, I'm just gonna add the fish.
So with the fish, you said you boiled.
Boil it with the
For approximately how long did you boil your fish?
about half an hour
Okay.
with the onions, the bay leaf, and what else? White. I use white pepper, but like I said, you can use.
And I'm going to say another reminder, please use oven gloves when touching your pans if you do not have pans with handles that are going to isolate them from the heat.
Okay,
We don't
I'm
follow
just-
Aisha in that respect.
I'm just gonna put this away. I'm gonna use a wooden spoon now. Yeah.
So Aisha just popping her whisk away so it doesn't cause a mess on the
Yeah,
surfaces.
so right.
And this is our white fish.
White fish, yeah. Boiling milk.
Yep. And you said onions, red onions,
Red onions, but you can use white.
a bay leaf or a couple of bay leaves.
I use about 4 bay leaves. Yeah. And black, white pepper.
Pepper.
And Aisha, can you use frozen fish or does it have to
Yeah,
be
frozen fish. Well, whatever you have, I use a frozen.
And with no skin on it, it's just a
No
fillet.
skin on, yeah.
Yeah.
No skin on.
Thank you, Odette. And I know you can buy fish pie mixes in the freezer section of most big supermarkets.
Okay.
So if you were looking to make it a little easier, if you wanted to have all the different flavours without having to buy a fillet of this and a fillet of that.
Yeah. So as you can see now, I'm just mixing it. Don't mix it too much because you don't want to. You want some chunks of fish in the pie. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, you want some chunks of fish in the pie.
So this is a gentle stir once you pop the fish in to try and keep it all together.
All together. Let me taste it for salt. Yeah, that's it. No more.
Brilliant. It's looking scrummy. And it's smelling great as well, which is even better than looking scrummy.
Right. I think that's all done.
Oh, do we need to relocate over to the other camera so you can...
I'm gonna do the mash now.
Okay, I'm going to move out and I'm going to change the camera view.
Okay.
I brought the microphone with me. And we're back on our wide view camera. You can see the hob in the background. And Aisha's going to bring over the mashed potato. And it's a very big bowl of mashed potato. Is there any advantage to what you mash your potatoes in? Does it make a difference?
Well, you need if you use a wider bowl, it makes it easier for you to mash. So in this, I've got like, 2.5 kilos, because I'm doing a lot. So
Yeah.
yes, I've got 2.5 kilos of mash. I use the Mary's Piper. For me, I find it that it's easier to mash.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you've got any other potato that you like using, that's fine. So in here I've got obviously the potatoes and the butter. So I boil the potatoes with salt, like I said earlier. But what I'll do after mashing it with the milk, with a double cream, I might need milk, but let me see how it goes. I might need a bit of salt. I'll taste it and then add a little bit of white pepper.
Would you advise taking your potatoes out of the sauce when you've boiled them in to mash them?
No, you can mash it. I just want to do it here because it's easier.
It looks better for us. Okay.
Exactly. That's why. Well, I can usually I just mash it in the pot. Yeah.
And from what I remember, the bit of butter in the mash is what makes it really creamy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And again, you can use alternatives if you're looking after your waistline. I'm sure Odette can give us some good. Odette would say do the keep fit afterwards.
I'm just gonna put a little.
I think you could probably use some low-fat yogurt.
Ooh,
like I was saying.
Do let us know if you play around with this recipe and what you find and what you enjoy doing and how it comes out.
I sometimes like to add some smoked fish as well as the white fish.
Yeah, I like smoked what is that fish called?
Haddock, is it?
Yeah, smoked haddock, yeah.
And I also occasionally put a boiled egg in it. Sort of I cut a boiled egg in half and put half bits of boiled eggs in the mash.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah.
Once it's in the dish, I don't stir it because then the yolk and the white would separate. So I just put hard-boiled eggs in the mash.
So what sort of consistency of mash are we looking for? I'm asking horrible questions today, aren't I?
It has to stick in the spoon.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a really good one. If it's sticking to your
I'll just
mash.
put half a teaspoon of white pepper
Yeah.
and
Keep it mashing, keep it going.
right,
Oh, yeah.
and a teaspoon of salt.
If you were on a low salt diet, could you skip the full salt?
Yeah, it's up to how you. It's your. Remember, it's your fish pie.
Okay. Your fish pie.
Your
You
fish
use what
pie.
you like
Yeah. So it's all nice and creamy now. I'm just trying to do it so I don't have any lumps
Yeah, we don't want lumps in our
in the mash.
mash.
Boy, this is hard work mashing.
Keeps you fit, then you can eat the pie.
Well, you've got nice strong arms.
Yeah.
All that mashing of potatoes.
Right. So as you can see, it's all nice.
Oh, it's looking
and
very,
smooth.
very smooth and sticky.
Yeah.
So you could always taste it and to find out if there were any lumps left as you went along.
Yeah, you can. Well, I can
You can
see
kind
that.
of feel
Hopefully,
it.
there are no lumps.
And if you're worried about lumps, call
I'm
it
just saying.
crushed potato rather than mashed potato, and you get away with everything.
You could probably
Yeah.
cook your potatoes just a bit more
Yeah.
to have them so that they can mash easier.
Well, I just tasted it for salt, so the salt is fine. I added a teaspoon of salt. So that's it. It's almost done. And then you just put it in your pie tray. Oh, I think that is done.
I'm sure we don't put the mash first in our pie tray, though. So are we on build a fish pie? Because we've got all the ingredients. Is all that left to build it up?
Yeah, that's all.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Right.
You know, the first time I saw fish pie, I was expecting like a pie crust.
Oh.
Yes. It's there are only 3 pies I can think of that have mash on top.
Shepherd's pie,
Shepherd's pie,
cottage pie,
cottage pie, and fish pie.
Oh, what is a cottage pie?
So traditionally a shepherd's pie should be made with lamb, hence the shepherds, and a cottage pie tends to be made with beef.
Ah.
But generally they're used interchangeably and you just ask what the meat is.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments what your favourite pie is as well. You don't have to go with a mashed topped pie. It could be a pastry pie. Could be a sweet pie, could be a savoury pie.
Yeah. So now I'm just gonna pour the.
When you say pour, you mean ladle.
I just wanna put it like that. I don't have this
okay.
bowl. I might need a bigger.
Or have we... You can move the camera, Aisha.
Yeah. It's alright.
You're seeing the secrets of inside our kitchen.
If I use a, yeah, I'll use this one.
We can use a deeper dish.
Yeah. Right. Can you see in here?
Not quite. That's better.
Yeah.
I can see it perfectly now.
Alright.
So it's quite a wet mixture. If it was a cake, it really wouldn't be done.
Oh, right, okay.
You'd be going, oh, I need a bit more flour if that was a cake.
Yeah.
And it's not mixed very well if it's a cake because there's lumps all over it, but that's perfect for a fish pie.
So you can see the fish there. Ooh.
Ooh. And it's still hot. Is that the idea, that you do this whilst it's all still hot?
Yeah. So it goes straight in the oven, so it doesn't. It takes about 25-30 minutes in the oven, the top shelf.
Yeah.
So you said, Kathleen, that you like to have shrimps in your fish
Oh,
pie.
I am mildly obsessed with them. Any excuse for me to have a prawn.
And I suppose one could use any seafood. You could put crab or lobster
Oh,
or
yeah.
mussels or any squid.
I love seafood.
I know if you have a stargazy pie, I think that's got mackerel poking out of the top.
Ooh.
It's a very specific type of fish pie.
Oh, yes.
What is it called?
Stargazy pie. It's got the head of the fish poking out of the top of the pie.
Ah.
But I don't know if I'd like to deal with bones and skin and all that.
I think that's why it's mackerels. It's ones. I can't remember. It's been a very long time since I've seen them.
Wow.
Right. So that's the pie. That's the sauce, and now we're gonna put the mash on top.
Could you actually do a fish pie and then freeze it?
Yeah, because they sell it frozen, isn't it, in the supermarket?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You can
So
buy
you could
frozen
do a
pie.
few and,
So I'm just gonna assemble it now.
So the idea is our sauce should be thick enough that when we put the mash on, it doesn't sink.
It doesn't sink, yeah.
But you do want it to slightly ease into the sauce,
Yeah.
because then you get that lovely saucy mash underneath and the crispy mash on the top.
That's, you've said it, Catherine.
So here's the other question. What is... Mary has a question. What other fish can you put in besides cod, salmon or haddock? So you could put in pollock, that's another one that's used very often. You could go down the oily fish route if you wanted to. It's really up to you what you fancy. And definitely seafood. I haven't ever seen one with cockles and mussels, but I don't know if it wouldn't work.
I'm sure it
and
would.
scallops as well.
Scallops. I think that would be a very, very posh fish pie.
Yeah, that's a
You
posh.
can get in Sainsbury, I know you can get them frozen as well. So you could put like 2 or 3 in it as a kind of a
Surprise.
extra surprise and royal fish.
Royal
And I know
fish.
quite often when you get fish pies, there's a little bit of vegetables in there, often sweet corn in a fish pie.
Oh, I've never had that.
And I think you could put, for mine, I like it with broccoli.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it's really.
So these are serving suggestions now. What could we put alongside?
Yeah.
Broccoli would be good, yeah. I like... There's something about the really vibrantness of the green broccoli
Green, yeah.
against a fish pie which can look very
Dull.
pale. But have you got any tips for making sure that the top of the mash crisps up nicely?
I don't know. Sometimes I just put butter.
I know I've had some that have got a cheese sort of, it's a cheesy mash rather than a plain mash. I think that crisps up a bit more. And I've had some that have definitely had breadcrumbs on top. So the breadcrumbs
The
crisp.
breadcrumbs.
Oh, I've never had fish pie with breadcrumbs.
No, I've
Fish
never.
pie is my go-to Friday meal. Generally, I am not good like Aisha. I don't make it. It's pre-made. But I'll also quite often, when going out, fish pie is something that, if the fish inside it looks really scrummy, it's going to be one of my options.
Ah.
And we're making sure when we put the mash down, it isn't flat, aren't we?
No.
And you're just
No.
you're going around now and making sure that
Making
it's
sure that it's
all the way to all of the edges.
edges. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So that the sauce doesn't bubble up the sides.
Yeah.
I was a guess. I think I vaguely remember from a cooking lesson at school something to do with a fork and making peaks in
Oh.
mash.
Sometimes you just do like design, just do the fork, just
Yeah.
like just to make it pretty.
But I'm guessing that's an optional extra rather than compulsory.
It's just to make it fancy anyway. Nothing to do with the taste.
Well, I know the peaks are what crisps up better because they're slightly higher than the rest of it and they're thinner, which is, I think, why traditionally. I think it was with a shepherd's pie. I do remember spending a lot of time with a fork making peaks in a shepherd's pie.
Do you really like it to be crispy? Is it one of your criteria?
I do like a crispy top on the. I like sort of to break through the crispy top.
Really?
Then you've got the smooth mash and then the creamy filling. To me, a fish pie is those
Needs to have
things
all
together.
that.
I did have a lovely fish pie that had spinach in it.
Ooh.
Spinach.
And
oh,
spinach is
yeah.
one of my other go-to things.
That sounds nice. Yeah.
So you can put anything you think will go with fish in it.
That's
So
about
I
it. So I'm just gonna do it with the fork, make it a little bit pretty.
Leeks as well.
Leeks, yeah, leeks would go very well.
Hmm.
They're slightly more delicate than the onion that you've poached the fish in.
Yeah.
So here's a question, Aisha. If you were thinking of using leek, would you poach it with the leek?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just saves you having to try and take the onion out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. So I'm just doing it with the fork like this. So
Just running a fork along from
just
the
to
long
make
end
it-
to the long end.
Yeah, whichever way you want to do it. It doesn't have to be in a particular way, just to make it.
To some high points so it
Yeah.
goes crisp.
You could do waves, I can see.
Yeah, you could do
Yeah.
waves. I think the way I was always taught it was just little short bits, which is why it took forever to do the top of a pie.
Right, so I'm going to put it in the oven now for about half an hour.
And our oven was on 240.
Huh?
240 was it?
240, yes, it is.
I remembered an oven temperature. That's very unusual for me. And we're going to pop it in the oven for, you said, about 25-30 minutes.
Yeah, that's it.
Brilliant. And as you can see, I should pop oven gloves on, and it's on the top shelf because that's the hottest bit of an oven.
Yeah.
I presume if you have a fan oven, it will be slightly lower and slightly less time.
It's all about, learning new information, testing your general knowledge, and just having fun. So we're going to see, Catherine, are you going to come over to me?
I can do, yes. I have to bring a laptop with me though, so I can answer any questions.
Bring a laptop, bring a chair.
I have a chair as well, yeah. I will double check I've set the camera up right as well, because I might have not done it quite. I can be seen. That's all good.
But I won't share the sheet with you because you
Oh no, don't give me the answers, that's cheating. So everyone can be assured I have no answers in front of me on the laptop. It's just so I can see your comments. So if you have any questions, queries, comments,
Put them
pop
in.
them there.
So the first bit of the quiz is a multiple question. So
I like multiple choice.
So it's going to be like A, B, C, or D. So here we go. Our first question. What are coral reefs made of?
Ah, they're very pretty.
They are. So A, they're made of fish scales. B, they're kind of underwater volcanic vents, so made by volcanoes. C, they're made by sea worms. D, they're the skeleton of tiny sea creatures. So I'll say quickly again, so what are coral reefs made of? A, fish scales. B, the volcanic vents. C, sea worms. And D, they're the skeleton of tiny sea creatures.
And just a little reminder, please don't write your comments. Write your answers in the comments. If you do, that's minus points for you. But just make a note of them any way you want to, on your phone, on a computer,
Kathleen,
on a bit of paper.
do you think we should say the answer kind of now? Or
No,
should we
do it
visit
in the
them?
round. Do it in the
Okay,
round.
so
Quiz.
we'll let you kind of ponder on that one. So,
And just one more thing.
Yeah.
Just one more thing. If you have any questions you want us to go over, until we start reading out the answers, we can go over them. Once we start reading out the answers, that's too late.
the rules of the quiz
Rules of the
master.
Quizmaster.
Okay, number 2. How deep can fish be found in the oceans? So, the first A is 1 mile. And we kind of worked out that 1 mile was from Croydon Vision to Church Street.
To the tree house.
To the tree
The
house.
pub on the corner down in South End, South
So
Croydon.
that's about 1 mile. So you have to kind of imagine that kind of deep.
Mhm.
And it would take you, what, 20 minutes to walk?
Approximately.
Yeah, at a good pace.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you find fish at 1 mile deep in the ocean? Or is it B, 3 miles? So that would be down to
Pearly, we said.
Purley, yeah, from Croydon Vision to Purley. You have to imagine that deep. C, 7 miles. So that would be to the M25.
Ish, we think.
Ish.
We're at the point of guessing by that
Yeah.
one.
And or D, 15 miles, and that would be from Croydon Vision to Gatwick.
Yeah, we definitely know that's all the way to Gatwick.
So, how deep can you find fish in the sea? 1 mile, 3 miles, 7 miles, or 15 miles? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, number 3, what is white bait? What is called white bait?
Apart from yummy. Oh, sorry.
You're
Wasn't
looking
what I
right
was
away. Is it a white sort of worm that you put on your hook when you go fishing? Or is it a white plastic fish that you put on your hook when you go fishing? Is it deep-fried baby fish in batter? Or is it when a group of baby fish are fighting and get together in the sea to form a ball of fish? So what is white bait? A white worm you put on your hook, a white plastic fish you put on your hook, deep-fried baby fish in batter, or is it baby fish that form a ball in the sea when they're frightened? So you have those questions. What is white bait? And then sort of just turn my paper around. Number 4. What is called a group of fish that swim together in the sea? So A is a herd, B a ball, C a flock, and D a shoal. So what is called a group of fish swimming together in the sea? A herd, a ball, a flock, or a shoal? Number 5. How many tentacles and brains does an octopus have?
Ooh, that one's challenging.
It is, because the numbers are very strange.
I could do the tentacles because that's the root of the word. And I think I know the brains, but we'll see when it
We'll
comes around to the
see,
answers.
yeah. So we have A, 8 tentacles and 8 brains. 2 brains. D is 7 tentacles and 7 veins. Ooh. To be honest, I had no clue octopus had several brains. So that's an interesting one. One of those answers is true.
Okay, I think I know which one it is.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll see what
So,
Catherine answers.
our number 5 is how many tentacles does an octopus have? A, 8 tentacles and 8 brains. B, 8 tentacles and 9 brains. C, 6 tentacles and 2 brains. D, 7 tentacles and 7 brains. Okay,
We'll find
number
out.
6, we'll find out later. Number 6, which fish can walk out of the water?
Walk.
Walk out of the water, so they don't dive when they come out of the water.
Okay.
They can come out of the sea, go on the beach and walk, or from a lake, or they can actually walk on land.
Okay.
So A, a catfish. B, a dogfish. C, a monkfish. D, a St. Peter's fish. So which fish can walk
Oh, I
out
think
of the
she knows
water?
that.
A, a catfish. B, a dogfish. C, a monkfish. D, a St. Peter's fish.
And I will say, Aisha, you do have a microphone over there, so if you want to chip in.
We will revisit all the answers at the end.
We
so.
will.
Okay, number 7. The biggest fish in the sea is a whale. Is a whale shark. And how long can it grow up to? So how big? What in a sense? What is the biggest whale shark that was found? So we have A, 7 feet. I was kind of wondering how many meters does that make? 7 feet. I think it's 3 feet to.
Well, I can't translate between.
Yeah, so
I'm going
that's
to do a Google.
Let's Google what I do.
Well, I've got 7 meters.
So 7 feet. How many meters would that be?
Meters. It's about 2 meters, 2.1 meters.
So 2.1 meters. Okay, so that's probably a bit taller than a doorway. Most
Slightly more
doorways.
distance than you're meant to give to each other at the moment.
Yes, oh yes, COVID, social distancing is the 2 meters, isn't it? 2 meters and a bit.
2 is a bit.
Okay, so how big is a whale shark? A, 7 feet. B, 14 feet.
And that's about 4 and a bit meters. So,
What is 4 meters? A car?
4 lots of that on me. I think the car's
Arms
about
apart.
3, so maybe on
Maybe-
MTV.
Oh, we
Slightly
could,
longer.
yeah. So then C, 10 feet.
That's 3 meters.
Or B, 25 feet.
25. 25 feet is about 8 meters.
8 meters.
So
That's a big fish.
That's very good. And we're definitely saying it's a whale shark fish because whales are mammals.
Yes,
So no writing in the comments, but whales are bigger than that.
whales are not fish. Whales are actually mammals. Yes, yes. So let me say it again. So how big can a whale fish grow to? And this is the biggest fish in the sea. 7 feet, 14 feet, 19 feet, or 25 feet. So 7, 14, 19, or 25.
We did 10 earlier, so what was 19?
It was 19. and
19 is
so
about
on.
6 meters.
Yeah. Okay, number 8. Prawn, cod, tuna, and salmon are the most eaten fish and shellfish in Britain. So, what I'd like you to do, this one, is actually put them in order. Which one from 1 to 4, which one do you think is the most eaten? So these are the most eaten fish and shellfish in Britain. So we have, I'll say it again, there's salmon. So if you could order them.
I'm going to write that one in the comments as well,
Yeah.
so people have got an idea.
Yeah, prawn, cod, tuna and salmon.
of
So you have to
what-
order them. Which one do you think has the most eaten in Britain? And order them, put them in order.
Well, if I was answering for me, prawns would have to be at the top.
Aha.
Closely followed by salmon.
Anja, what do you think is the one that's the most eaten in
I think cod.
You think it's cod? Okay, we
I think if I was
shall
answering for
see.
me, it would be
We
prawns.
shall
I can't say for everyone else.
You would eat the most.
Yeah. My friends say I have a slight prawn problem.
Okay, number 9. How much fish is caught around the world every year to make tinned dog food and cat food?
Ooh.
So I'm going to give you quantities, and they said on the where I was looking for the information that is not including China because they couldn't get any information from China.
So it's
So
this plus something.
Except China. So how much fish is caught around the world every year to make tinned dog and cat food? I was quite shocked, to be honest.
Okay.
So A, we are starting with 2.5 million tons.
I can't even visualise that amount.
I can't.
Wow.
I can't. Then B, 1 million ton. C, 50 million tons. And D, 55,000 tons. So the last one is in thousands. So how much fish do you think is caught every year around the world to make tinned dog and cat food?
So what were our options again?
So A, 2.5 million tons. B, 1 million ton. C, 50 million tons. D, 55,000 tons.
So to put this in a little bit of perspective,
Yeah,
the HMS Belfast
right.
up in London is
How much does it
10 tons, the displacement. It doesn't actually tell me an actual weight.
So it would be just like the quantity of water.
Yeah, quantity of water it
Yeah.
gets rid of.
Okay.
Shall I look up how much the Eiffel Tower? Well, the Eiffel Tower isn't very heavy because it's mostly air.
Well, but it is metal. Let's just
Yeah,
let's
heavy
just have-
is the...
Oh, how heavy is, I don't know, Nelson Column or something like that.
Tower.
Something in or Big Ben, I don't
The
know.
Eiffel Tower is 10,000 tons.
10,000 tons. Okay.
And a blue whale,
Yeah, go on.
a blue whale is about 180 tons.
Oh, yeah, so that's not, yeah.
At most 180.
Interesting. Okay, so I don't expect anybody to know, but it's just to sort of, you hear about, we should stop fishing the fish in the sea, maybe we're overfishing, and we always think about human beings, and we never think about the fish that is actually fish for our pets. And you sort of think maybe for a year we could feed them, what they usually eat, like
They
rats
become
and
vegetarians,
mice.
isn't it?
Give them vegetables.
Not good for pets.
No, but they were saying that actually cats and dogs, they don't really eat fish, really.
No.
They eat mice and rabbits and sort of rodents, really. They eat what foxes eat, really. So why do we give them fish? That's a human being thing, I think. Interesting. Okay, so that was a kind of a thought-provoking question. Number 10. Now, which sea creature has killed the most human beings?
Ooh.
I was thinking of Jules, obviously.
I'm thinking of the
So
one that killed that man in Australia.
Ah, could be that
okay,
one.
so let's see what the options are. A, white sharks, the one in Jaws, obviously. B, sea crocodiles.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
C, a killer whale. And D, box box jellyfish.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
the
my,
one.
that was my
that's it,
bad.
yeah.
That was my bad action earlier.
Yeah.
Pretending to be a
The
jellyfish.
jellyfish. I couldn't remember the name, but I'm thinking.
That would be my
maybe.
guess, but-
Yeah.
I heard that if somebody gets stung by a jellyfish, you have to put vinegar on there.
Yes, not the other one that was
It's got to be
popularised
acid.
in the television series Friends.
It's got to be acid. It's got to be vinegar.
Yeah, and the best thing
Or
actually
pea.
is
Pea? No,
That's
you
the one that
shouldn't.
does
You
work. You
shouldn't
should
put
not.
pea. You should put vinegar.
Vinegar
Yes.
on
Yes.
jellyfish
So
series.
let me read out the options again. So which sea creature has killed the most human beings? A. White sharks. B. Sea crocodiles. Sea crocodiles. C. Killer whales. And D. Box jellyfish. And that's the end of my fishy quiz. I have another
Round
sea one, but this is round one. Shall we go for the answers?
Well, I popped a comment in, so I'm waiting to see if anyone wants any questions repeated.
Yeah, any questions repeated?
And if I don't hear back
This
in
one.
about 10 seconds,
We shall
we
go
shall
for
do
the
the
answers.
So, do you want to ask the questions and Aisha and I will guess what the answer to your
Okay, let's go for that. So, number one, what are coral reefs made of? So, fish scales, underwater volcanoes, sea worms, or skeletons from sea creatures?
I think.
I know it's living because it grows, so my guess would probably be D.
And Aisha?
Is that the last one? The
Yeah.
D?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
And
one I was
it is.
thinking.
It
Yeah.
is right.
Yeah.
Because it grows at a really, really slow rate, because I
Yeah.
know
And they, yes.
in Australia with the Great Barrier Reef they're having problems with people picking coral,
Mm.
Yeah.
and just that small bit you pick can take tens
Yeah.
of years to
To
regrow.
grow.
To grow, yes. They are growing, they are alive,
Yes.
as you say. Yeah, yeah. Excellent. So, number two, how deep can fish be found in the ocean? 1 mile, 3 miles, 7 miles, or 15 miles?
I would say my guess is 7 mile. I'm not sure. I'm just
Okay,
guessing.
and you are...
I'm trying to work out how deep Mariana Trench is.
That might come in our next...
Oh, okay. Let's go 15, because they have been found lower than you think.
Well, Aisha is right. It is 7
well done, Aisha.
miles. Number 3. What is white bait?
I said yummy.
What is what?
White
White
bait.
Oh.
So, is it a white worm you put on the end of your hook to catch a fish?
Oh, right.
Is it a white plastic fish you put on the end of your hook? Is it a baby deep fried fish in batter? Or is it when a group of baby fish kind of swim together and form a ball in the sea?
It's B, it's the white plastic fish that you put.
And you?
I would say it's C, because I've had them and they're yummy.
It's deep fried baby
So they're
fish.
approximately the size of your thumb,
Okay.
as in length, but not in thickness.
Okay.
And you eat them whole, so they're usually really lightly battered, and you just pick them up, eat them whole.
And do you know there are some savoury ones, but I was going to say salty, and you can also get some lake.
You were telling me about
yes,
this.
yes.
No, I've never had lake. I've only had
They're
saltwater.
they're not so fishy. They're kind of, because they're not like an oily fish.
Mhm.
Because you eat the whole fish, you don't have like the taste of the guts, the head, everything. So they're much softer as
I shall have to look out to find.
So if ever you go to Geneva, around the lake there, you have to have
Okay.
lovely white...
A reason to go to Geneva to have
There you
lovely
go.
fish. I don't need any excuse to eat fish, but that's a good one.
It's a good one. So, number 4. What is a group of fish called? A herd, a ball, a flock, a shoal?
I'm not sure. I know it's not a herd. The herd is animals. So I think it's D, the last one.
A shoal.
Yes.
Yes, I would go D, because herd is cattle,
Cattle.
flock is sheep.
Yeah, yeah.
Ball I haven't heard, but
So I'll go with D.
It is D. You are right. You are right. I hope our viewers are getting this right as
Well,
well.
we'll ask in a moment what we're
Okay.
getting.
Okay, an octopus have? So we have 8 tentacles and 8 brains, 8 tentacles and 9 brains, 6 tentacles and 2 brains, 7 tentacles and 7 brains.
I'm going to answer first because I think I
So
know.
the first one is what?
8 and 8.
And the second one is?
8 and 9. 6
And I know it has 8 tentacles. I'm not sure about the brain, so I'll say 8 and 8. I'm just guessing.
So, I'm vaguely remembering a fact saying that each of the tentacles of an octopus has a brain,
Yeah.
plus its central brain, so I would go 8 and
9. Okay.
It is 8 and 9.
Okay.
I watched QI, they tell me these weird facts.
Well,
Yeah.
So, number 6. Which fish can walk out of the water?
I don't know this one.
Catfish, dogfish, monkfish, or St. Peter's fish?
I'm thinking it's catfish. I'm not sure. Just guessing.
Okay, but
My answer would be, as I haven't heard of D, the St. Peter's fish, that's my guess.
No.
Okay, it is a catfish.
Yes.
Well done,
And they
Alicia.
become really big.
Yes.
And they actually frighten people. I think they
Yeah.
grunt as well. And they go out and they walk from
Yeah.
one lake to the
Yeah.
next.
Wow.
Yeah. St. Peter's fish is a fish with a black spot. So it has like it looks like it has a coin on it. And they're kind of slightly oily. They're very nice.
I don't know. I don't know what that. I've never seen one. Maybe I've seen it. I just didn't realize. And then,
Yeah. I'm not sure you can get them in England.
Oh,
fresh, you know.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. The biggest fish in the sea is a whale shark. How long can it grow? 7 feet, 14 feet, 19 feet, or 25 feet?
I'm going to guess 19C.
Okay, and you, Aisha?
I'm guessing D, 25. That's just. I know it's not right.
It is 19. Okay. Number 8. Prawn, cod, tuna, and salmon are the most eaten fish and seafood in Britain. And we need to order them. Which one do you think is the most eaten between prawn, cod, tuna, and salmon?
Now, I can't answer this because I remember you telling me this the other day.
Okay, Aisha.
So I'm guessing cod first.
Yeah. Second.
Second is prawn, and third is did you say tuna? How many? Is it 4?
Tuna, cod, salmon, and cod.
Okay, first I'll say cod. Second I'll say salmon. Third, what's the third one?
Tuna.
And what's the fourth
Prawn.
one? Tuna I'll put last.
Right.
Prawn will be 3. Third.
You got the salmon right.
Okay.
And not the other
So let me see if
ones.
I can remember.
Yeah.
So I think you said tuna was the most eaten.
It was.
And thinking about it, it makes sense. All of those tuna sandwiches and the tuna you have on your jacket potato, and tuna steaks, it's a more versatile fish.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you said salmon
Salmon
was
is
second.
Second, yeah.
And then what did you put? as
Prawn
third?
or cod? Cod.
I did said prawn third.
So we go prawn.
That is number 3. That is
Cod.
Yes,
And
you're
then
right.
prawn.
And
Okay.
so the correct answer is 1 is tuna, 2 is salmon, 3 is cod, and 4 is prawn.
Okay.
And just to give you an idea, we eat 72 million tons
Probably.
of tuna, 47 million tons of salmon, 42 million tons of cod, and 33 million tons of prawns.
I'm probably eating quite a few of them.
You know, I can't get my head around these millions of tons.
No, it's such a big number.
I know. Okay, how much fish, this is the question, how much fish is caught around the world except for China?
This was a potluck one.
For making tinned dog food and cat food. So we have A, 2.5 million tons, B, 1 million ton, C, 50 million tons, and not so much D, 55,000 tons.
I think it's going to be a million ton at least.
Which one?
Which one? 2.5, 150.
I'm going to say 2.5 because 50 just sounds so.
What's the other one?
So 2.5 million, 1 million, 50 million, or 55 tons. Thousand.
I know 50 million is a lot, but yeah.
You're going to go for that one?
I'll go for that.
Okay, it's 2.5 million.
And we were both overdoing it.
So there we go.
Was
But
that
it's
A?
still, yes, A, so it's still an enormous amount.
It is. It's
Yeah.
million. It doesn't work in my head.
No,
I'm just hearing the oven open and getting excited because I'm
So,
on this table.
let's do the last one. Last one. 10. Which sea creature has killed the most people? A, white sharks. B, sea crocodiles. C, killer whales. Or D, box jellyfish.
Well, Aisha and I both said box jellyfish.
Yeah.
And it is box jellyfish.
Yay! So I think you've done one better than me.
I think so. You had a few and now you more.
But we weren't counting. So let us know your scores. We'd be great to know. I'm just going to ask Aisha, approximately how long do we have time to do another round of the quiz?
Well, it's ready. The pie is ready.
I've let it taste
We're going to keep these quizzes for later. I hope you enjoyed the quiz. I hope you got some of the answers. And I hope you've learnt maybe a few facts about the sea and fish.
I'm just going to move some stuff off the table so that we can get some food on it because
Are you going to get some fish pie on?
well, I was
on
going
the
to see if
table?
I can get the camera to come over and see if I can get a lovely picture. Oh, I don't want to walk in front of that camera. We're going to have to wing it. It's going to be my answer today because I can't get to the other camera to let us see.
Do we need to put a hot plate, or is it? Was
Aisha usually gives us cold plates
Oh,
so that we don't have to worry
Right.
because the food's really hot straight out of the oven.
Okay.
We've got Anna Marie says, thank you really much, it was really interesting. I found it really interesting and I always think, even if you don't know the answers, it was fun.
You learn something, yes, and some of the answers you just wouldn't know. It's just for fun and information as well.
I've just seen the fish pie. It's got lovely crispy tops,
Oh, just like
lovely
you like
peaks
it.
like I like it, and it's just peaked above the tray as well, so I think it's got a little bit of growing.
Oh, so it kind of weighs us a little bit.
Just a little bit, that's what I think, but I will definitely tell us later.
Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful.
it is a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I'm being allowed to taste this time because I'm sitting at the quizzing table.
So it's only one plate.
2 plates, please, Aisha. We would both like to have a taste.
2 plates coming.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, I don't normally get to taste on camera. Usually we do get to have a little bit afterwards because
Yes.
Aisha very nicely always does a little bit too much. And I remember the week we did pizzas.
So,
Definitely people came down to try them.
They disappeared.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you.
Catherine, our first live Facebook Live event was a kitchen one.
It was. We were
Do you
cooking
remember?
cupcakes.
Cupcakes. So it was the very first one a year ago
And it was open.
in March. In March was it?
May have been
Or maybe in
April. Would have been April because it was after the
the lockdown.
no. After we did launch the strategic plan, it was at the beginning of April.
Yes.
And later on, we would have gone, wait a minute, we did it for a strategic plan. I bet we can do this
For cooking and
Yeah.
And we went, what are we going to do first? Let's do cooking. And then we said to Aisha, we're doing cupcakes.
Oh, fantastic.
So we did cupcakes. I think we put raspberries on some,
Yeah,
and we
some
definitely
strawberries.
strawberries on some, and I'm sure there were chocolate on others.
Yeah.
So we did cupcakes, we did pizzas, we've done a fish cake. What else did we do? We did stuffed peppers.
We did
Yes,
stuff, they were
I did
amazing.
They were really nice.
And we did.
It'd
we
be
did spaghetti
interesting.
bolognese, didn't we,
Oh
Rosie?
yes, it'd be interesting to have from our viewers which was their favourite recipe
Oh
from Aisha.
yes. What has been your favourite Aisha recipe? Because I'm really looking forward to hearing your favourite recipe.
Thank you. I feel
I'm
like
gonna sneakily walk backwards so,
I feel
so
like
I
a
can
TV
point
show.
it at the
I'm going to
camera.
score you, Aisha.
So you can have a. I can't see this.
wow.
Ooh. I'm trying not to make it slip. So there's our fish pie close up.
So
It smells amazing. It looks amazing. We did something where we skinned sausages. Was that meatballs?
No, it was for the was it for the sausage rolls?
Sausage rolls
Yes.
and cheese and onion rolls.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
they went really fast in the staff room.
Yeah.
Oh, pancakes. That was another one.
Yeah.
Pancakes, yes.
So you must try this.
Oh, it's lovely, Aisha. I think we can definitely open a restaurant here. We do it away, I suppose.
And it's got the lovely creamy matchy top.
I got a lump of fish and it's really nice to get a nice sort of meaty chunk.
Yeah, they're good sized lumps as well.
You want to be able to taste the fish. I think if the fish is too small,
Yeah.
then you don't get to kind of, to taste it. Then it's a bit like a fish cake.
Yeah, that's why when you put the fish, you don't try not to mix it too much. Not to, because otherwise the fish will all go apart, mash up, and you won't have any. It's really
I think
hot.
it's really hot. So you can just get the hint of the pepper in there as well.
I can as well, yes, I can have to taste.
Yeah.
Now, Aisha, how long did you cook it for?
Half an hour in the.
Half an hour.
Yeah.
And I think what the other things, I'm trying to go through other things we've cooked. We had those Easter biscuits.
Oh yeah.
And I will tell you a secret now. Aisha always tries out her recipes, so we get to have them before and then on the day.
And we did the flapjacks.
We did the flapjacks.
Oh, they were nice.
Yeah.
So we've done some sweet stuff, some savoury stuff.
Yeah.
Now we did the salads.
So
We did the Greek salad and summer fruit salad. With
So Catherine, if somebody wanted to revisit these recipes, are they all on our website?
They are all on our C Hub, so you can access all of them.
So where would you go?
So you would go to Skill Up, and all of the cooking videos are in there.
Wow.
And they're also in entertainment, because quite often we can't split them between the food and the quiz.
And the quiz, yes. Yeah.
And I think the last one we did that we haven't mentioned was the trifle. And that was when Aisha had to hand over reins to Natasha. So Natasha was in charge of making trifle. And it's been really nice being back down in the hall to have the whole cooking event and quiz event down there.
It's nice, yes.
So,
Because I get to taste it.
I get to taste it. I stood behind the camera and explained. It's the first time I've got to taste it, so thank you very much, Aisha. And thank you, Odette, for inviting me onto the quiz section.
No, it was good fun. It was good fun.
And thank you very much for joining us every week over the past year.
So what we'll be doing is if we're doing any other cooking, it won't be live, but we will put them up on the screen.
Yeah. So cooking ones now, they'll be pre-recorded, so it will be, you do this and then pause the video.
So maybe viewers, if there's any recipes you're interested in knowing how to do, maybe give us your ideas.
Yeah, and we will start putting them up. So next week, as we said, is all about finances and making sure that you are in charge of your own finances. So do come along and join us at 1 o'clock next Thursday. Remember, if you're physically in Bedford Hall, we will have it up on the screen in the main hall, and there'll be someone there to write comments for you. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.